All right, let us get into it. It is time for more Ace Attorney. While I clear my throat heavily. Oh, yeah. So, I don't know if anybody who's watching this saw the first Twitch stream that we did, but we did start Corpse Party there. That was fun. We got to play that for the first time. That went for quite a while. About almost 5 hours. And, yeah, that went pretty well. There was quite a few people there. That video already has more views than most of the videos on my channel already. Let's see. But, yeah, that went well. So we're going to continue on with Ace Attorney. We started a little late today just because I had to take care of some stuff. And I'm just actually in the process of fixing a few things up, a few settings, just to make sure that everything is running okay. After changing a lot of things to be on Twitch. I'm also clearing my throat a lot because I just ate. Alright, but it looks like we're good to go, and we're going to jump right on into it. I can't think of anything else that needs to be covered. I don't think. Yeah. Yeah, alright, well, let's go ahead and get right into it. We are starting the first part of the trial for Case 2 in the second game. And we will be continuing that as well. We're going to continue on with this twice a week as we have been. There will still be some stuff on Twitch. We're going to be playing Corpse Party and a few other things. So if you want, you can follow me there. But let's go ahead. We're good to go. Hang on a second. I'm just making sure that I kill everything I need to kill here in order for things to be running at absolute best efficiency. As we all know, we've had frame rate and CP issues with some of these games. Corpse Party certainly didn't give us any. That looks suitable. All right, let's give her a bash. Excellent. So, loading up our save file. Let's see, making sure everything looks good on the stream there. Everything seems to be suitable enough. So I think I got the CPU down the way I needed to. Let's go ahead and give her. Time for trial. Not giving the year. It should give the year. It's an error piece. Oh, yeah. While I'm clearing my throat, I gotta do voices. The Old Bailey. This place always makes me feel strange. I seem to get chills down my spine and break out in a nervous sweat all at the same time. We haven't been here in a while, actually. Well, I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. We haven't been here since the last game. That's my line. Yeah, that is Soiseki's line, actually. Good morning in Japanese. Was it going to be Ohayou gozaimasu? Good morning, Mr. Natsume. It was only 2 days ago that I was declared not guilty. Yeah, we somehow managed to prove he didn't stab Miss Green in the back. But now this! Another morning, another murder, and here I am again in this hellhole. Can't keep coming to court! Beginning to think he's right. It really does seem as though he's cursed. Mr. Naruhodo, I'm afraid I have some bad news. Oh. Let's not say it in front of the client. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Back in Japanese mode around another countryman. Yes, morning. So, here we are again. Yes, again. About that news. Exactly. Now you get a big long name. And what's the bad news? Oh dear, you heard, did you? Uh-oh. If you come in shouting at the top of your voice, people can't help hear what you're saying! Oh, I'm sorry. You've done nothing wrong, Miss Suzuto. Now what is it? Or are you about to do something wrong? Something Soseki shouldn't hear. Uh-oh, that was a sharp glance. Well, it seems that the prosecution in today's trial will be led by Lord Baron von Zieks. Of course. Van Zieks? Why is this a surprise? This is the third time in this chronology. Oh, look at that film grain you get. The so-called Reaper the Bailey, the most legendary prosecutor in the land. Apparently the only prosecutor. In the trial 2 days ago, he pursued Soseki and I relentlessly. Of course, by the skin of our teeth, we managed to pull through, but still. How are you still alive, by the way? Perhaps Mr. Natsume's acquittal in the last trial wasn't the end of the matter. After all, yeah, I know what you're thinking. The legend of the Reaper that says nothing can save a person in the dock when Lord Van Zieks is the prosecutor. Okay, so maybe they don't get killed. Maybe Soseki is just cursed to be accused of murder every 3 days. And that's a wildly specific curse, but... Oh no! But even if that person is found not guilty, the accused will meet a mysterious end one way or another. And we've experienced that firsthand. Buck up. Gina's still alive, for now. The man we successfully defended met the most terrifying end after his acquittal. Right here in the Old Bailey. Do I have to put up with those ice-cold eyes? Boring into my soul again. Cursed by evil spirits and now by the Reaper. Petrified, perils, potentially. Well, if it's potentially, at least you appear to have hope, Mr. Natsume. I was just alliterating. Well, yeah, that full name. Yeah, that's me. I'm innocent. You have to believe me. I mean, you were still hiding some stuff, bro. You gotta stop doing that. Don't worry. I'll be your steadfast ally every step of the way in this battle, I promise. And this promises to be a hard battle, I fear. Again, we're blind in this playthrough now, so I have no idea what's coming up. Well, the trial is scheduled to begin shortly. We should move into the courtroom. Let's go. Oh yes, I forgot to say. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it. Mr. Holmes, I mean. Oh yeah, he's hiding some stuff from us too. I remember that coming up as well. That's probably for the best. Oh? If he were here, I might be tempted to rely on his help. And that could be seen as a weakness. If Lord Van Zieks were to notice, he'd prey on it mercilessly. At least that's my gut feeling. Yeah, he wasn't part of the first case we did here. Not with the McGilded/McGundle. You're right. Yes, you're so right. Oh, well said, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Well said. I swear on the sword at my side and on the spirit of Kazuma that it harbors. I'll show him what a Japanese lawyer can do. I'll set you free with honor. We'll do it right this time. 3 days later, he got accused again. Eventually, Soseki decided, well, if I keep getting accused of murder, I might as well kill someone. There's Kate Boy. Oh, yeah, we got a new jury. I saw at least one repeat in there. That asset reuse, dem odds. How many thousands of people are in this this country? We keep getting the same jurors. Some of you guys just like being up there. Juror number 2 was a repeat. That was the only one I saw for sure. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. Readiness for the trial, my learned Nipponese friend, is not what the defense needs. How long were you standing like that with your arm across your face? What you need is readiness for your inevitable defeat. Yeah, keep dabbing. not just in my imagination. It's really there. Lord Van Zieks has such an animosity toward us Japanese for some reason. Presumably that's going to come out. The reason for this trial. It was some time ago now that he first became known as the Reaper of the Bailey, I believe. These past few years he hasn't appeared in court at all. Yet now he's back in this courtroom, though for some reason, only when I'm defending. How does he know? Who keeps telling him? This Reaper, with his curious disdain for us Japanese, is a prosecutor shrouded in mystery and racism. Still, this isn't the time to be pondering that. I have to concentrate on Soseki's trial. Furthermore, Santa Claus is back. Back from Stick It to the Man, making a cameo. I now call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury. What do we got today? You've been chosen at random, snicker, to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to fulfill your duty? Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, wow, you're back. You were from the second time we were here. You were from here. Have you left? You were the jury foreman 2 days ago. Absolutely. I had a feeling this Larkin wasn't innocent before. Now I'm back to get him put under. Okay, you were from the first trial we did. I must say that I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat refuses to sit right. Oh dear. Were you the one who was sitting there on the first? No, you were there with fair play, because the first trial was the dude with the knife. Mr. Boring here. Oh, well, I rather like how you wear your hat. I think the ruthless look is very fetching, actually. We'll give him a real light Irish. You are very new. Who is this individual? Juror number 5 is the same as second trial. Most of this is a repeat from the second trial. Most of this is a repeat from the trial literally 2 days ago. They're going to remember Soseki. Huh. We'll give you the Celeste voice, because we don't have anyone to give Celeste right now. I need to be somewhere at 10 o'clock. I have a very important meeting. Let's make this quick. The Jezebel / Celeste. Yeah, there's old dude again. What? I couldn't agree more. I need to take home 5 bob tonight. The missus will go through the roof. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict. Is he a preacher now? He's got a different job every time I see him. The British jury system is so very different to our own non-existent one, isn't it? It's quite extraordinary to think that the power of judgment is in the hands of the 6 members of the public. That's terrifying, and that the judge can only pass sentence when all jurors are in agreement about the defendant's guilt. Are we going to end up with a hung jury at some point? We kind of had that in the first case, sort of, kind of. The prosecution would draw attention to the fact that the accused was on trial here but 2 days ago. Accordingly, where possible, the same jurors have been asked to return for jury duty. For duty today. Okay, so that explains that. Very well, let us commence the trial. Lord Van Zieks, your opening statement, please. That's how they're excusing the asset reuse. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is not the intent of the prosecution to cast doubt over your past decision, though your past decision was pretty stupid. However, the innocent verdict afforded to this eccentric Nipponese before has had dire consequences. Oh, you found him innocent, and if you hadn't, this other person would have been stabbed. How you feel about that? Did the accused repent for his wrongdoing in that affair? Far from it, even though he didn't actually do anything wrong. Indeed, he used his freedom to perpetuate a most blood-curdling crime. She's still alive! Namely, that of the accused murder of his neighboring lodger, an innocent Englishman. Not dead yet! I don't think he's dead. Did he stay alive? I'm pretty sure he came back to life, and I'm pretty sure he was stabilized. I thought, maybe? To explain the circumstances of the crime, the prosecution calls its first witnesses to the stand. It's going to be Tobias. Oh, there goes the cape. Do I have to take off my hat now? Well, I might as well keep up tradition. The detective responsible for investigating the scene, and the accused himself. So Tobias and Soseki. All right. I wonder if we're going to have any more. What's going to happen with Chin Dude? Is he going to show up? Because I know we have an investigation after this. I'm pretty sure. Witnesses, your names and occupations, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector of Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. You know who I am! Soseki Natsumi from the English Empire of Japan. My government ordered me to come here as a student to study your language and culture. And backs with my knife. Yes, my lord, sir. I'm quite sure I'm not mistaken that you swore an oath never to set foot in my courtroom again. He did do that, didn't he? I remember it as if it were yesterday. In fact, it was the day before yesterday. Yep. But close enough. Believe me, this is the last place I want to be. Inspector, let's hear from you first. Explain the case for the court. Right you are, sir. This guy's hovel. Damn. The incident occurred at the Garrettov household, where the defendant has lodgings. I have spotlight powers too. In the ground floor of the victim, Mr. William Pretenci, who actually might be called William Shakespeare in the official version. The defendant has already admitted to visiting the victim on the night in question. We helped with that. Mr. Pretenci collapsed in his room as a result of poisoning by strychnine. It's not the first time we mentioned what he was poisoned by. He was found the following morning when the landlord, suspecting something was wrong, broke down the door. Wait a minute, did he say specifically that he... Incident. Blah, blah, blah. Collapsed. Okay, still no mention of his alive status. Snap. This means I presume that the door to the victim's room was locked at the time of the incident. Correct, my lord. It was locked from the inside, making entry to or exit from the room impossible. Although the victim, Mr. Pretenci, lives to tell the tale, he very nearly didn't. The man was halfway to heaven when we first found him. I was the first officer on the scene, my lord. And I have a photographic print here that I took at the time to show how it looked. Nothing here we didn't already know, I don't think. Can't help but notice that the meter is in the frame. We're probably going to have to reference that at some point. The man looks very much deceased. That's right. Everyone present believed that it's exactly what he was. No one bothered to check for a pulse or anything. Very well, I shall accept this photographic print as evidence for the court. Yay! Presents from Santa. Now then, Mr. Natsume. The judge looks super mean. It's like, I didn't do it! Yes, yes, yes! As the defendant, do you have anything to say at this juncture? They're haunted. Haunted by evil spirits. Good gracious. What's haunted? Soseki's losing it. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings at my lodgings. The ghost did it. We're going to have a ghost on trial. The tenant before me died in mysterious circumstances. Oh yeah, that was that boy we saw the picture of. No, I'm guessing it was the boy we saw the picture of. A woman was stabbed by no one on the street outside. My neighbor was poisoned. And me. What about me? I've nearly been killed countless times. Killed, Mr. Natsume? How? Even on that faithful night, it happened. When I returned from Mr. Pretenci's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into my bed, but before long, the stove went out, and someone tried to kill me! Soseki's just freaking out. You must always extinguish all fires before retiring for the night, Mr. Natsume. But it's so cold! My runny nose would freeze. The point is, I didn't poison my neighbor. Oh, why am I being accused of this? Why is my existence so cursed? Thank you, witnesses, for that. Yeah, I believe I have a reasonably clear picture of events. If I could raise one more point, my lord. One more conclusive point. Conclusive? Go on. I'm intrigued. Fortunately, the victim, Mr. Pretenci, has regained consciousness after his ordeal. Oh, yeah, he actually gave a statement and, yeah, did that thing. Named the true culprit. Butts. Why'd you have to bring that up? The poison consumed by the victim was administered in a cup of tea that he drank on the night in question. Tea, my lord, that was brought to him to the victim's room by the accused. Dun dun dun. Order, order! Yeah, that's the crux of this whole case. Yeah, how's that going to get explained away? Why'd that dude say that? If so, yeah. Why is the victim accused him? Well, Mr. Natsume, what do you have to say to this accusation? Can you give an explanation for that, too? Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Pretenci's room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water, especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again. Never! The public pump was frozen, you say? That's not information we've heard before. How relevant is that going to be? That will do, thank you. Okay, so he supplied the tea. Now, according to our laws, the defense must have the opportunity to cross-examine witnesses at least once. Therefore, I call upon these witnesses now for a formal testimony. I presume the prosecution has no objections. None whatsoever, my lord. Be my frickin' guest. Good, then you will give your account of events on the night in question to the court now. Yes! The catastrophic night. Oh, we've had more catastrophic nights than this, guys. Come on. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and I took some tea with me as a gift. Oh, we're not even getting a formal statement from Tobias. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink between Soseki and Shakespeare, after which I went back to my room at about 11. Ah! My tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he? Strychnine takes some time to have effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. Instinct tells me we're going to be objecting to that statement, but we need something to do with it first. Am I getting an autopsy? No, of course I'm not getting an autopsy report. He's not dead. Yes, I see. It all seems relatively straightforward. Excuse me, but that testimony does raise one rather crucial point, I think. Mr. Natsume claims his tea to have been harmless. Presumably, though, the teacups have been examined for traces of the poison, haven't they? Why didn't I think of that? Well, as it happens, no. We haven't been able to. What? Did I hear you correctly, Inspector? Scotland Yard has failed to examine the suspect's substance. How could you have overlooked something so important? Isn't that the first thing you should have done? There's got to be a reason for it. My learned Nipponese friend is falsely incensed. The inspector said Scotland Yard was unable to examine the tea, not that it was overlooked. Unable? Why? It's simple enough. There was none left. Not a drop. Someone must have been very thirsty indeed. With current scientific techniques, it's not possible to test for a poison under such circumstances. We only need a drop, but that one drop does actually have to exist, funnily enough. The lack of examination notwithstanding, it appears nothing other than the tea passed the victim's lips on the night in question. Uh-oh, not good. I see, thank you. The matter is clear. Cast your eyes over the jury, my learned friend. Why? What? You can see it in their faces, I'm sure. The recognition of the accused's guilt. Your client's fate is all but sealed. Only got one new juror this time. Juror 4 couldn't... Oh, yeah. Juror number 4 was Mrs. Garadeb. Of course, we had to replace her. She's in prison. In mere moments from now, you will lose, and your compatriot will be damned for all eternity. Bit dramatic. I can feel all 6 of the jurors looking daggers at me. But I can't let them beat me down. I won't. Counsel for the defense, proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. Before we do that, just a quick... Oh, I got a lot of stuff. I forgot all my evidence from earlier. All right, so this was the receipt for the books that we found in Pretenshi's house, in his apartment. This, I'm not really sure why this is still going to be relevant, but we got it. We got the teacups. Like they said, not a drop. One of them has a ring and one doesn't, though. I'm curious how that's going to come into play. A very oddly ripped letter. We're going to have to look for something with this shape, because I have a feeling that's going to come into play as well. Bars of soap. This guy just had soap every... Wait. The red thing's gone. Why is the red thing gone? Pardon me a moment. Oh. What is it, Mr. Naruhodo? This bar of soap. When we first found it, I could have sworn there was some sort of round disc in this depression just here. A reddish one. Yes, you're right. I remember it too. But now the depression is completely empty. Where could the disc have gone? What the hell? There was a medallion. I mean, it was a red something. It was really hard to tell what it was. Huh. Okay. I was not expecting that. I guess we did a good. And then, of course, we got this thing. Huh. I wasn't expecting any sort of revelation there. I was just kind of reviewing. What? What happened to the red disc? I mean, not like it's relevant now, but that's... Huh. All right. Moving along. Let's do this. Review real quick. It was around 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor, blah, blah, blah. We had a heated literary debate, afterwards, which I back to my room at around 11. I think Mr. Garadeb kind of corroborated that with his statement, even though he's not here. My tea was completely harmless. Doesn't really matter, according to Tobias. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. Nothing to contradict any of that just yet. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion, Mr. Naruhodo. Of course, go ahead. Mr. Natsume is arguing for his innocence so adamantly and so persistently, yet Inspector Gregson just brushes off what he says aside. It's really quite infuriating. I agree. So we need to find an inconsistency in what the inspector is saying, I think. Alright, so pressing one of his statements. Or objecting, I mean. I'm afraid so. As things stand, the jurors are sure to find Mr. Natsume guilty. Is this going to be a supposed to lose testimony where I just end up making the jurors angry when I press? We need to focus on the poison and the tea. Let's listen carefully to the testimony again. Yes. Alright, we'll start pressing. I have a feeling I'm going to piss off the jury. Hold it! Were you and your neighbor good friends then? Ah, no! We weren't friends! Not at all! Not at all! Never! Ever! A simple no would have sufficed. I just moved in a week ago. Then, why did you decide to pay him a visit? Mr. Pretenshi fancies himself as having great literary knowledge. As a fellow scholar of English literature, we find much to talk about together. Come now, no Nipponese could understand the finer points of English literature. Shut up, Van Zieks. And on the night in question, that was the topic of conversation as well, I presume? It was the day of my last trial when I was acquitted. I'd just arrived back at my lodgings when I ran into Mr. Pretenshi outside on the street. That was around 6 o'clock. We exchanged one or two pleasantries, but it soon turned into a heated discussion. He was on his way out at the time, though, so I promised to visit his room that evening at about 9 to continue our debate. But did I have ill intentions? No, not one, not two, not any, not at all. Okay, Dr. Zeus, chill. Never, ever. A simple no would have sufficed, I feel. Then tell the court what did happen when you visited the victim's room. We had a heated literary debate over a nice hot drink, after which I went back to my room at about 11. We were talking about Harry Potter. Whoops. Whoops. No. Back. Give me that.
Hold it!
Stop. Hammer time. Literary debate about Shakespeare's works, I think you said, didn't you? Shakespeare. Ah, a very worthy topic of conversation, I must say. Oh, yes, my lord. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? Oh, yeah, who would win an arm wrestling competition? It was a profoundly pleasurable parlay. Romeo and Juliet? Who was stronger? I was right, you don't get it. I know I'm going to regret asking this, but how did the debate go? Well, we both agreed that we would reach a conclusion more quickly with a reenactment. Oh, so we battled it out, in a Greco-Roman style, naturally. What? Mr. Pretenti had all sorts of costumes in his room for just such a contest. You cosplay in Soiseki? So when you say a reenactment, you mean you were actually in costume? I look so good in a dress. I knew it, he was Juliet. He is Romeo, I is Juliet. And after a vigorous, wild tussle, I is Juliet came out on top. A victory I'll cherish forever. I got to keep the dress. I dare not imagine the terrible scene of carnage. That's why his apartment is so messed up. The fact remains that it was you who prepared the tea and took it to the victim, correct? I don't want to hear any more about this. I boiled the water in my room and made a pot to take with me. I'd heard that he was too poor to have tea himself, you see. It's true, there was no sign of any tea leaves in the man's room. I wanted to do something nice, to be friendly. So why is everyone looking at me with such suspicion? I'll never do anything friendly again. My tea was harmless. Of course it was. And do you have any basis for that statement, witness? I made the tea. What do you think? My sparkling water is also harmless. My tea was completely harmless. He couldn't have locked the door behind me otherwise, could he?
Hold it!
I mean, Tobias already refutes this, but let's just go with it. Yeah, there was not a drop of tea left in the victim's room anywhere, was there? That's correct. Anyone would think the fellow had never had a pot of tea before. He must have liked it dry. Which is a pity, because one drop is all we would have needed to analyze it for poison. What about the dried stuff along the edges? And you say that you returned home to your room at 11 o'clock, Mr. Natsume? Yes, definitely. By heaven and earth, I swear it. The landlord was able to verify that, as it happens. Yep, as we said. He confirmed that the defendant went back to his room at 11 that night. How was the landlord able to attest to this? Gas lamps. He said it was the lamps, I believe. The lamps, Inspector? When tenants return to their rooms and start using gas, the lamps in other parts of the house flicker. Yes, Mr. Garrett seems to pay a lot of attention to the comings and goings of his tenants. There's only one key to Mr. Pretenti's room. I know that for certain. Yeah, but can you prove it? So he must have locked the door himself from inside his room. The victim has confirmed that to be the case. Yes. Ah, okay. So we got a confirmation from the still alive victim. So I'm right. My tea was harmless. Completely harmless. If you take poison, you die. Everyone knows that. It's not that simple, I'm afraid. Ah, what do you mean? Strychnine takes some time to have an effect on the body. People don't keel over immediately after taking it.
Hold it!
I'm surprised the jury hasn't jumped on me yet. Maybe I will have to object to this. How long does it take for symptoms to appear then? According to the coroner I was speaking to at the yard, about 30 minutes after the poison is consumed. Then the victim suffers violent convulsions, cramping, and stiffness, and eventually dies from asphyxiation. So there's a 30-minute interval between when the poison is ingested and the onset of symptoms. There seem to be a lot of different types of poison in the world, that's for sure. Oh dear, death by poisoning again. It's always so awful. 30 minutes is a long time. Oh, that's the wrong voice. 30 minutes is a long time. Certainly in long enough for the victim to have locked the door behind the accused after he left. Well, did they drink the tea first or last? They wouldn't have just let it get cold. You can't deny that. And it further degrades Soseki's alibi. I have the medical report from the doctor who examined the victim here, my lord. Ah, that's what I want. Give me that. It spells it out, really. The accused is the only person who could have done it. We'll see about that. Very well, the court will add this report to the court record as evidence. Oh yes, I see it here. Delayed onset of symptoms. Great. The victim would have been perfectly able to lock the door after his guest left. The argument still stands. The argument still stands, you say? That is what Mr. Natsume has been saying, isn't it? The pair of them drank tea together that night, so if there was poison in it, the victim wouldn't have been able to lock the door after the accused left later on. Exactly! Ah! Me and my tea are innocent! Sweet and innocent, I tell you. I'm afraid, sir, that doesn't follow. You see, strychnine is a slow-acting poison. In other words, it takes time for symptoms to appear. I hate how much it takes for my voice tracking to notice on my model. I can't look at it that much, but I'm like trying to talk and my model's just like, ah. I look straight at my camera and be like, ah. Anyway. So you could have left the room up to 30 minutes after the victim drank the tea. And as long as you did that, Mr. Potenchi could have locked the door after you'd gone. But no! We drank the tea straight up. Ah, see, this is the information I was curious about. But can you prove that? The battle over whether Romeo or Juliet was stronger, that came after the tea. Do you have any evidence to support that statement? Well, no. In my great homeland, the Empire of Japan, we have a saying. Drink tea when it's hot! Sure, a proverb will satisfy the prosecution. I'm afraid there's no conclusive proof to support the defendant's assertion. On the contrary, there are sufficient grounds to infer his guilt of the matter. Hang on a second. I just realized we got that this. Wait a minute, did I lose something? I thought this row was full. Okay, well, let's review this. Cause of coma, ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine, toxic offense, present 30 minutes after ingestion, high likelihood, something with tea, but no sample could be obtained for testing. Poisoning incident occurred after 1:30 a.m. Assessed from the victim's pocket watch that appears to have been broken when the man collapsed. Boy, that's pretty convenient. No container for the poison was found at the scene. You just happened to bang your watch at the perfect place at the perfect time. Just happened to break it. That happens a lot in these games, but that's got to be one of the most contrived versions of it. No. That's the extent of their testimony, is it? If I could voice a personal opinion. Okay, this is... We need to focus on the poison and the tea. Let's listen to their testimony again. Now, is this going to be a situation where I have to listen to again and then they're going to give me something to pursue? Because that caught me in the first court case here last game. With Magnus McGilded, Cogsney McGundle. Because I can't really see what of this contradicts anything. This doesn't really say anything. It's not the same day, so it doesn't matter. This is irrelevant. This we can't do anything with yet, although like I said, we're going to need to do something with that. What does it say specifically? There's no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. That's just going to incriminate him. That's just going to mean he didn't drink the poison and the other guy did. That's not going to be relevant for a while, I'm sure. This is still weird. I don't see anything here. I also don't see anything with the shape of the letter torn out of it. Oh yeah, I forgot I could do this meaningless little thing. I wonder if that's ever going to be super important. That's not going to matter right now. Let's review here. It was about 9 o'clock that evening when I visited my neighbor and I took him to use a gift. We had a heated literary debate. At around 11, whoops, I almost pressed that. The autopsy report says what? 1:30? The poisoning incident occurred at around 1:30 a.m. on 21st February. 1:30 a.m. Now, obviously that contradicts Soiseki, but if I present this, to what end? I mean, one of them has to be wrong. That might be it. Maybe we'll present that. Okay. Alright, let's trust the game for the moment and say that since we pressed everything and nothing came up, that there's nothing to come up. If this doesn't work, I'm going to go through and press them all again. But otherwise, this is the only thing I can really think of. Let's give it.
Objection!
Aha! Okay. So as usual, they give me the evidence I need during the witness examination I need to use it on. Mr. Natsume, you said it was 11 p.m. when you left to return to your room, correct? Oh, and actually it's not his word against the report because we have the landlord who backed it up, as Tobias said. Okay, maybe this will lead to something. Yes! I'm just going to take off like Superman. And Inspector Gregson, can we rely on the information in the medical report unconditionally? Well, what do you think he's going to say? Of course we can. There's no problem with that report, Sunshine. Are you calling me that because I'm from the Sunshine Country? Sunrise. Wait, never mind. That's wrong. Different. Never mind. Actually, I think that's a very big problem. Can you call me Sunrise from now on? It would be more consistent. And I hate inconsistencies, which is why I pointed out an inconsistency. There's a chronological inconsistency. A what? What do you want about? I'm getting a little freaked out standing next to this guy, by the way. Not going to lie to you. According to this report, the victim must have consumed the poison at around 1:30 in the morning. And yet, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, left the victim's room at 11. Ah! Did you not read this thing? Yeah, that's right. There's more than 2 hours of missing time there. That's way more than 30 minutes. In other words, if there was poison in the teacup that Mr. Natsume brought to the victim's room, how could the victim have fallen ill to it 2.5 full hours after the defendant left? Okay, that was funny. Soiseki had no reason to do that. He's just freaking out because he's Soiseki. The defense's argument is entirely reasonable. How do you respond, Lord Van Zeeks? I'm sure he's got something. Completely unfazed. You're actually going to drink it, not throw it? Thinking about it. Pray forgive the discourtesy if my mind has wandered. I was considering what cuisine would best complement the contents of my hallowed chalice this luncheon. How could it have happened, you ask? Never mind, not drinking it. I do hate to shatter illusions, but my Nipponese friend appears to be chasing a phantom idea. What? Is it so hard to imagine that the victim drank his tea after the accused had left? Dude, my coffee gets cold enough in a thermos after 2.5 hours, noticeably. You think tea is going to sit in a little tiny frickin' cup like that? For example, at the time stated in the medical report. Yes, at around 1:30. Did he just not make the tea until 2.5 hours later? Mr. Natsume brought the tea with him to drink together with his neighbor. And yeah, I think it means that potentially couldn't have boiled the water, I think was the point being made. And in Japan, there's a well-known saying, oh, I'm going to use it now. Drink tea while it's hot.
Objection!
And in my country, there is an even more apt saying. You're full of crap. There is nothing more refreshing than cold tea. The point is, if there was such a long gap, there may be other ways to explain how the victim came to be poisoned. Other possibilities. What sort of possibilities, counsel? I don't know. My eyes are flicking around again, which means I have no idea. The man could have had another visitor. Another visitor. That's a very bold assertion, my learned friend, from someone who has nothing to substantiate it. Hey, the burden of proof is on you guys right now. Prove he drank the tea 2.5 hours later. Or the victim could have taken the poison of his own volition. You suggest this may have been a suicide case.
Objection!
Mr. Potenchi is categorically denied suicide. The idea can and must be discounted.
Objection!
Oh, you got nothing. But he could be lying. Sorry, man. Phoenix bluffs better than you. I just feel bad for you now. This is just pitiful. What am I going to have for lunch? I can't go to the subway. I don't have my vaccination papers. Is something wrong, Lord Van Zeeks? Oh, I was listening to the sound of the carriage pulling up outside the courtroom. Pray, forgive the discourtesy. Is there someone else coming? Carriage? What carriage? It would seem that the key player in this case has just arrived. What? What are we doing? Is Mr. Chin here? I can't imagine Garadeb is here. Who else would it be? Hold it! Is that Soseki? Looking back at the player. Oh! Oh, it's the victim. Oh, well, that's gonna make things interesting. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow. Oh my god. This trial is definitely breaking some conventions here. Why are you blaming things on Soseki? A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Sup, Shakespeare? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Who, sir, are you? What in the actual hell? William Potenchi, my lord. Alas, 'twas I, undone by these bitter events. I am the victim. What? I'm gonna get slammed against the wall. Boy, this is a unique situation in Ace Attorney. The victim is just here, arguing with the person he's accusing of not murdering him, attacking him. The prosecution seeks to call this gentleman to the stand. Fortunately, he's already there. With his testimony, my learned friend's futile resistance will be utterly crushed. I mean, why would this guy lie, right? Except clearly he's lying, but why would he be lying? You're calling him as a witness? I mean, he was there. Very well, counsel. I grant your request with interest. I'm curious to discover what the court shall hear from the victim himself. Yes, get on with it. Happy am I, Potenchi, to regale thee with my tale of woe, my lord. Kind of a similar voice to Soiseki, just not as out of control. But, I still have my own tale to tell. My own tale of worse woe. I can outwoe you. I can regale the court with the tale of my perfect innocence and perfect English. That will do, Mr. Natsume. Let the court now hear from the victim. Whoa, 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 where, why? What? What is he just doing there? This guy's just popping up like something out of a horror game. He's just, every now and then he's just in the background. Like, what the hell? Am I playing Fear right now? Alright, so that's Mr. Potenchi. But who's this guy? Who's the other man beside him? My god, look at that chin. You could smuggle coconuts in that. Yes, I feel sure that we've caught a glimpse of that man before. Yeah, at least twice before. State your names and occupations for the court, please, witnesses. You guys are gonna be sorry you brought him up here, whoever he is. A writer of words so sweet, they do scent the breeze. An inventor ideas so profound, they compose the earth. The unrivaled poet, the unmatched scribe, William Shakespeare. Were the great bard to be recalled to life anew, lo, what a magnificent man! Good fellows, I am he who ponders such a miracle. William Pretenshi. Okay, so he's not actually William Shakespeare in this game. William Shakespeare came before. Oh, he's the meter man. Interesting. I wish I could recall the conversation they had during the first game. I'm curious what the how that would be interpreted with that actual context. How are you going to talk? You look like a rough and tumble fellow. Oh, the name's Meterman. The cargo Meterman. Yeah, well, I'm not even going to try to give him an English accent. Just I work for the Altamont Gas Company, Eastern Bridge office. Ah, I remember now. It was yesterday on Briar Road. Was that why he was peeking through the window, looking at the meter? Oh yeah, she's right. It's him. Yeah, doing that thing. What's this? What's this man doing over there? He looks like he's trying to see into Suseki's lodgings. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Excuse me, can we have a word? What a bobblehead response. Thumb his chin, Jojo pose, out. Why does everybody have stands in England? Yeah, we spotted him outside Mr. Garrett's house that morning. And he's a gas company employee? What does he have to do with the case? I mean, we know what gas has to do with the incident, but what's his witness testimony? He just appeared out of nowhere here. So, Mr. William Pretenshi, you are the victim in this miserable affair, correct? Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? That sweet poison that didst crossed me and crossed mine innocent lips. I subpoenaed him for the trial, with his doctor's permission, naturally. Hearing the testimony of the aggrieved will remove any room for doubt from the juror's mind, I'm sure. Behold, you have only to rearrange the letters of my name to see that me's a seraph, an angel indeed, except the mod changed my name, so you can't do that now. Thus be I noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart, as all heavenly angels be. Because there isn't a less contrived meaning in your name. Nope, not at all. Because your name is different. The jurors seem to be very moved by this man, I'm afraid. Well, why would you not listen to the victim? Right? They're taking this Seraphim acronym seriously? Guys, his name's Pretenshi. It doesn't work anymore. Stop it. Thank you, witnesses, for your illuminating introductions. But my lord, what's the man next to Pretenshi doing here? The gas man, I mean. He's going to be key for something. What, me? Well now. Allow me to enlighten my learned friend. You recall, I presume, your earlier impertinence? When you suggested that the victim had another visitor to his room on the night in question. And moreover, that the victim is a compulsive liar. Oh, I did throw out a whole bunch of accusations there, didn't I? This young chin-stroker is here to controvert your wild claims. Conclusively. See, I can alliterate too. Is that not so, Mr. Meterman? Boy, you were just set up for life with that name, weren't you? Huh? Hey, hang on. No, I'm just here. I hereby call for your formal testimonies. Quit polishing your chin. You will tell the court as lucidly as possible what happened on the night in question. Lucidity from this guy might be a big ask, but alright. One may smile and be a villain. Yes, it doth pain me, but let the truth be spoken. The truth of that wintry night of my discontent. Yes, I love to rub my chin. The wintry night of my discontent. You just had to name the testimony that, didn't you? The snow lay about. My neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea. But, marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour, naught else. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on his room. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella. So are you going to end up being the dude? Because, I mean, you'd be the only one else there. You're basically playing Mama Momi's part here where you're like, well, no one else could have poisoned him. I was there. I didn't see anybody else. Best alibi ever. But I also know there's another investigation and trial for this, I think. I'm remembering that right. So, what's this going to be about? You were keeping an eye on Mr. Pretentious' room all night? You ever play Town of Salem? I'm a lookout. That's right. Of course, the bloke's window's all but blocked up, isn't it? Well, there's a little gap in the bricks where you can see into the room. So I spent the night trying to keep my teeth from chattering as I peered in through that. Why am I doing that? I don't know. The question is, sir, why? You know, shit. Well now, that's because he's on my list. What a piece of work is a man. Wherefore wouldst thou not stare in wonderment? What are you talking about? This buzzing busybody hath not part in this play. I pray thee, pay him no heed. Make no more ado about his tedious works. What'd you say about me? What? Are you a bumblebee? I saw that. Calm yourself. This court is concerned with what happened on the night in question. Nothing more. Uh-oh. Those two have some beef, and I have a feeling I'm going to leverage that. They were arguing that one day. Again, I'm curious what that was about. Indeed, that is so. And, as the testimony we have just heard clearly reveals, there was no one other than the accused present at the time who could have carried out this crime. That sucks. Uh-oh, jury's talking. Also sucks. Could you guys stop talking? Well, I believe this may be the final testimony of the trial. Yeah, this is going to be quick. The victim is just here to say they did it. You know, it was always a kind of a running joke to me, at least, how we would ever need trials in an Ace Attorney world where you could just channel the victim, because of course one of the main things of the Ace Attorney series is some medium or another channeling someone. That was the case in the first trilogy as well as Spirit of Justice. But you know what? If you've played all the games, like, not to spoil or nothing, but every single time we've had to rely on a spirit, generally the witness, I think always, I mean, not the witness, the victim, almost always the victim. Every single time a spirit has been channeled, they've either been wrong or outright lied. So, yeah, maybe having the victim testify isn't the most trustworthy thing in the world. Maybe they can't always be trusted to tell the truth. You would think that wouldn't be the case, but, yeah, welcome to Ace Attorney. Yes, my lord. And when I say been wrong, I'm being very charitable. Sometimes they might have just, depending on how you want to interpret those trials, for those of you who are familiar with them, maybe every single one of them lied. The wintry night of my discontent. Let's do this again. The snow laid about. Let's just review. My neighbor came, bring gift of tea. Bitter was his drink. I did fall prostrate. Not seeing any obvious contradictions yet. I have a feeling we're going to have some pursuing or some new testimony after pressing. Oh, I was keeping him. I'm going to do this guy's voice just out of the back of my throat. That seems to be working well. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on the room. This is my smoker's lung cancer voice. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella. So that's the entire testimony. We'll see about that. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, can't see any obvious holes at all, to be honest. Time to press. Oh dear. If no one else visited Mr. Pretentious' room that night apart from Mr. Natsume, I imagine the members of the jury will all conclude the same thing. Right, that he's guilty. Well, all we can do is press these witnesses for more information. Player, cough, player, and hope for a breakthrough. Yes! Yes, player, do that. The snow lay about. My neighbor did cometh in the evening, bearing a gift of tea.
Hold it!
To be clear, by neighbor, you're referring to the defendant, Mr. Natsume. Oh, indeed, sire. Perhaps thou wouldst that I call him the man from upstairs. And at what time did the mustachioed Nipponese visit you in your room? Our meeting was promised for the hour of 9, and lo, did he come, to tender a gift of fragrant tea. Details which are in accordance with the defendant's own testimony, yes. And we were broiled in such a literary debate as history has not seen before. How does Soiseki look in a dress, could you tell us? By which I presume he means their discussion about who was stronger, Romeo or Juliet. Not the sort of discussion you usually hear about this stuff. I pretend she did play the part of young Romeo, whilst my neighbour played the fair Juliet. Each of us dressed as wouldst our characters be, to bring weight upon our merry experiment. I dare not imagine the scene. Frailty, thy name is woman. Canst thou imagine how dismayed I was? I'm just throwing extra letters on the end of every word. Yes, I had heard of the eastern art of jujitsu, but did Soiseki Susato toss you across the room? Is that how that worked? Ne'er did I dream 'twould be a skill practiced by the comely maid. So it's a Juliet toss. Juliet beat Romeo up. This is not helping our case. It was a Juliet takedown. I believe the court has heard enough about your earth-shattering literary debate. Perhaps you could reiterate your statements about the tea that the accused brought to your room. But I want to talk about the fist fight. My liege, I am thy servant. Gladly I would do thy bidding. But marry, bitter was his drink, and when he left, I did fall prostrate on my table, just like a woman to poison someone. Damn it, Juliet. Let me stop you right there. Mr. Natsume left your room at 11 o'clock, but it wasn't until after 2 that the poison made you collapse. That amounts to more than 3 hours of missing time. What is this? Why? Why is this the thing that you're doing? Why is this happening? What are you doing? Okay, now the animation team needs to have their salary cut gumshoe style. I keep saying they need a raise, I'm taking it back. If the defendant had really put the poison into your tea, that 3-hour window of time is something you're going to have to explain. Gladly, 'tis an easy task. What? I did drink of the tea, not while my guest did tarry, but after he took leave of me. Faith, 'twas stone cold, but at 1 hour post midnight, verily were my lips parted.
Objection!
That doesn't sound normal. We drink tea when it's hot in Japan. We're not in Japan. Nay, 'tis quite ordinary, sire, after all. Thou wouldst recall our fiery debate. Amidst such argument, there be no time for fiery tea. Romeo and Juliet again, and who is stronger? Mr. Pretenci, in summary, allow me to confirm. Did you not come here with the intention of naming your attacker? But of course, my liege. 'Twas the stooped lover of words that attempt to shuffle me off this mortal coil. We all know what that means. 'Twas the tea alone did pass my lips that late hour. Not else.
Hold it!
Hold that tea. So you didn't have any kind of evening meal, dinner, supper, throw me a bone here? Ha! Fie on luxury, fie on gluttony. To eat thrice daily is but a waste of time. Sorry. I would that my belly were full. No more oft that the sun doth rise. Okay, animation team, I'm gonna need you to reel that shit in. Well, most heroic eating habits, I must say. Nope, still gonna do it. You know, you're gonna have to eat more if you're gonna burn your calories like that. I mean, it's not the place for your cardio routine. Night and day do I fill my hours with learned study of the great bard and playwright. Hence is that I doth nothing in my chambers be. Hence is it that there doth nothing in my chambers be than the costumes of mine art. That would appear to be the case, as even a rodent was found starved to death in your room. Damn! Even the rats are starving to death in this guy's place. Not even eating the soap? Now that I think of it, it's not just food that was conspicuously missing from that room, is it? I don't recall seeing a single player script anywhere. For I have devoured them all. Yeah. Well, we found Uncle Ray's ancestor. We learned through eating notes. You've eaten them. Every word be within my skull. Didst thou imagine otherwise? Right. That wasn't misleading at all. Now, could you turn around, do you think? Which brings us to the conclusion that the only way the poison could have passed the victim's lips is in the tea. Not what I want to hear. Hey, Shingai, maybe we'll have more luck with you. I was outside this bloke's window in the freezing cold all night, keeping an eye on the room.
Hold it!
Let me just wax this thing. But the windows of that house have all been filled up. Is this what we're going to find out about the soap? A historical artifact of the now defunct window tax. Yeah, you're right there. All bricked up horribly. But as it happens, there's a little part of the brickwork at the bottom corner that's been opened up. I was looking in through that gap. Yes, there were a few bricks loose, weren't there? And for some strange reason, a couple of bars of soap lined up on the ledge outside as well. I don't like going around poking my chin in other people's business, especially on freezing cold nights. But them's mortars, so that's what I'll keep doing, as long as there's breath in my body. What's with all the theatrics today? Out of interest, Mr. Meterman, after the accused had left and returned to his own lodgings, did you see the victim leave the room at all? No, he never left. He was in that room the whole time as far as I'm concerned. And we can therefore discount the possibility of suicide. How can you be sure of that? The police carried out a thorough investigation of the scene and found no receptacle for the poison. Yeah, we saw that in the report. And since we know the victim didn't leave his room, and hence didn't dispose of the poison's container himself, it's clear that this was no attempted suicide. Only the culprit could have removed the receptacle. Oh yes, lucidly explained, counsel. Thank you. It really was. You can't argue with the logic. But I'm gonna try, because we only got one more statement left. No one else visited his room but that short little round-backed Eastern fella.
Hold it!
You say a short little round-backed Eastern fella, so you can't be sure it was the defendant then?
Objection!
How many of those are there? How many other short little round-backed Nipponese with a mustache do you think there are in London? Well, of course, it's only a narrow gap and it was quite dark, so I didn't notice the mustache. But he showed up at around 9, so I'm pretty sure of myself. And when the person you saw arrived, did he and Mr. Pretenshi drink tea together? Uh-oh. Nah, sorry, I couldn't say. Why not? You were watching. Because I couldn't see into the room all that well, could I? But what I did see was the silhouette of that little round-backed fellow wearing a pretty dress. I knew it, Soseki. Then the pair of them started some kind of wrestling match. I tell you, I didn't know what to make of it. This is the weirdest house I've ever seen. I'm not peeping. I'm never peeping again. Huh. I suppose that was the Romeo and Juliet championship battle getting underway. Yeah, you think. You think, Susetto, you think? Mr. Meterman, allow me to confirm one final time. Apart from the accused, can you state with certainty that no one else visited the victim on the night in question? No question. Gasman's honor. Hold it. Uh-oh. We getting a Soseki? Sounds like a Soseki. Boom, boom, boom. Whoa. Oh, butts. No. I don't want you interfering. Okay, so I don't think there was anything I could do here. I think the jury is just going to have its way now. Damn it, I got to remember my English accents. My lord. Goodness me. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I mean foreplay. I mean fair play. I've kept my mouth shut and listened up to now, but this has gone on long enough. Are you all with me? Yes. Are we to understand that you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are in agreement with one another? that you've reached a unanimous decision. Too right we have. Are you all with me? Yes. Wait, no. The defense is in the middle of a cross-examination. To be honest, I was holding out a bit of hope for you, young man. Especially after you identified those few hours that followed the accursed leaving the victim's room.
Yes, the 3 missing hours, as you put it. But in the end, what difference does that make? None as far as I can see. And since that's now apparent, there's really no reason to delay our decision any longer.
Like I was saying before, if I don't take home 5 bob with me tonight, Mrs. will blow a top. What? Exactly. What? Very well. The court be apprised of your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty!
Guilty.
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 Juror number 5 has a more refined accent than I would have given him credit for. Judge, your beard is going to get so singed, it's going to burn off one of these days. All of you, well, what do you expect? Well, it would appear that the jury is indeed unanimous. You actually going to drink it this time? So, this time at least, it seems justice will be done. All's well that ends well, as they say. This calls for a toast, I feel. To the guilty being punished. Oh, no! Why does he get alcohol and I get back pain?
Get up, Mr. Naruhodo, please! This trial isn't over yet.
What do you mean, Miss Suzuto? Remember the thing from the last game? Are we going to do a tutorial on how to do a summation examination or whatever? What about the thing, that obscure rite that we get to do? Remember? Oh, right. I'm in a video game. A summation examination. Yeah, that's right. We don't have a jury in Japanese courts, of course. Here in a British court of law, if we can reverse the decision of a majority of the jurors, we can force the trial to continue. This trial can't end now. Whatever it takes, I just can't let that happen. The defense moves to invoke its right to a summation examination, my lord. Van Zeek's just why am I not surprised at my learned Nipponese friend's inability to admit defeat? I hate this rule, I hate this rule, I hate this rule. You choose to cling desperately to some archaic rule you barely comprehend, instead of accepting the truth. Certainly no other defense counsel in recent times has exercised the right to a summation examination. Like, all the time, every trial, sometimes multiple times in a trial. Because they all know that once the jury's mind is set, it cannot be altered, except for when it's altered. Nevertheless, the right remains and must be upheld. The defense counsel's request is granted. This court will proceed with a summation examination as outlined in the Encyclopedia of British Law. Thank you, my lord. Are you and your friends prepared, Mr. Foreman? Believe me, my lord, we know all about this young lad's tenacity. And we're ready for it. Great, a hostile jury. Awesome. Very well. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby call upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime for which he stands accused. All 6 of them just say, "Isn't it obvious?" over and over again. The jurors' contentions. The victim may not be well off, but he's a noble man and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to doubt the victim, typically. At least not yet.
Well, I do declare the good gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid. Just looking at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, steeps all the while and has a mustache. Very fishy.
Can we recall juror number 3 for racist? Oh, forgot, everyone's racist. Never mind.
There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least.
Oh, I really don't care. I just need this trial to end quickly. 3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know? Nothing at all. Well, these suck. I knew it. Every single one of them seems completely convinced.
It would seem that all the jurors have come to the conclusion that Mr. Pretenshi is a fine, upstanding, and honest citizen.
So we need to do some character assassination. Is that what we need to do? If you ask me, they've all been bewitched by his strange theatrical movements.
And sadly, nothing Mr. Natsume has said appeared to have registered at all.
Yeah, his movements aren't theatrical at all. They're more like spasms. Well, here goes. Let's not forget I've pleaded with the jury on Soseki's behalf before and it worked. So you never know.
Before we begin, it might be an idea for me to remind you exactly how a summation examination works, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh.
Well, you're still very new to British law, after all.
This is like our third case chronologically. I think we got this. There's always a chance I might have forgotten some critical detail. Perhaps I should hear Suzuto out. I wonder, should I let me... Nah, no need. F that noise. If I need to remember, I can just go back and watch the other streams. Thank you for the kind offer, Miss Suzuto. But I've been through plenty of these summation examinations already now. I think it's important that we don't delay the start any longer than necessary.
Of course, I understand. And I'm quite sure you're right. If you're confused by anything at any point, you just turn to me for advice whenever you like. I'll be here for you.
The key to this is really listening carefully to each juror's statement, finding two that are contradictory, and pitting the corresponding jurors against each other. That's the thing. Without further ado, please, counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Ooh. Yes, my lord. The defense's rebuttal. Now, do we need to review these? I feel like we don't, because they're just one-offs. The victim may not be well off, but he's a righteous, noble man and straight up. There's no reason to doubt the man. Let's just go for it. Well, there's plenty of people in London who seem noble but poor. Couldn't some of them also be liars? No doubt about it. Like that shaky client of yours, for example. Absolutely not. Mr. Natsume is no liar. Look, the point is, the only thing that passed the victim's lips that night was that Japanese man's tea. When you take the gas man's testimony into account as well, the truth couldn't be any clearer. Well, that's alarmingly logical. But let me be frank here. I'm a gentleman with a gentleman's values. If it turns out that the old Shakespearean chum is a lawyer after all, I'll gladly change my decision about the defendant. And I'm sure my fellow gentlemen on the jury would do the same. Is that right?
Well, yeah, perhaps. Though I don't see it happening.
What? What? Elderly gentleman on the end here, you know, you'll have to speak up. Look, I really don't care about all this nonsense. I just need this trial to be over. We're listening to hearing every single juror. How many gentlemen do we actually have on the jury here? Doing a little stream health check. Everything is still kosher. Happy about that. All right. Carrying on. All right, sir. I may hold you to that. Don't forget what you said. I'll be coming back to you later. All right. If you can show me that the victim's a liar, I'll reconsider my position. Okay, he's changed his statement, but we won't repress that just yet. Let's move on to you.
Well, I do declare that the gentleman has no reason to lie. In fact, I think he's rather splendid.
Hold it!
We don't have anything in the court record to prove he's not trustworthy yet. Maybe it'll come to the soap. Maybe I'm right. He's smuggling something in the soap. And the meterman is his contact or whatever. Where's that medallion? Where'd it go? Are you saying you believe the man to be trustworthy because he's rather splendid?
No, that's not what I said. The point is, the man is the victim here. What reason would he have to lie? And yes, he is rather splendid.
So you say, yet again...
Meanwhile, the man who stands accused behaves so suspiciously it's exhausting to look at him. I'm afraid he's not splendid at all.
Splendid logic there, madam. Thank you so much. That's not super helpful. I don't think she's going to be useful.
Oh, just look at the accused by comparison. He's Japanese, steeps all the while, and he has a mustache. Very fishy.
Hold it!
No, not one of those things is a reason to find the man guilty.
But he is fishy. There's no point dancing around the fact. He's Japanese, he has a mustache, and he stoops. You see, you arrive at the conclusion in just 3 steps. 3 steps, like a waltz, in fact. You know, the more I think about it, the more this trial seems like a dance. You seem to be several steps ahead of yourself, though, and you're on the wrong foot. No, there's nothing but circumstantial evidence here. There's no actual proof of the defendant's guilt. But the victim's version of events is backed up by what the big chin man next to him says, isn't it? 1, he saw the Japanese man there. 2, he saw no one else. And 3, he saw the Japanese man there. Oh, that's another 3 steps. Oh, this really does seem more and more like a waltz, doesn't it? That was a repeat. The prosecution will waltz its way to a victory if I let you speak much more. Okay, juror number 2 and 3 are useless. There's no evidence to suggest the gangling actor is a fraudsman. For now, at least.
Hold it!
A fraudsman? What do you mean by that, madam? Oh, do you know something? It really is the most tiresome problem for the company. Most irritating. Here we go. This is going to be useful. We can be absolutely certain that a customer is stealing from us, but without hard evidence, we can't even threaten to take action for fear of being sued. I'm sorry, you lost me a little there. Who are you? I'm the wife of Augustus Altamont, owner of the Altamont Gas Company. Ah, okay, you suddenly became very relevant. It's Big Chin's boss. Good gracious. Altamont Gas, you say? Gas is the future of energy in this country and around the globe. But proper handling is essential. As I'm sure our employee from the East End branch office would be the first to agree. Yep, there he is. Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gotta be used properly. Altamont Gas is the best in the world, of course. Theatrics. I think we may have solved the mystery of the bow from earlier, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, he bowed in deference to his employer's wife, did he? Oh, so would I be right in assuming that the reason Mr. Meterman was watching what Mr. Pretenci was up to in his room? I'm afraid that there's no end to the lengths the population of the East End will go in order to steal our gas. So I really have no choice when the company identifies someone as a possible fraudsman, but to dispatch a worker to watch the suspect day and night. We're very thorough at our investigations. Damn. Just peering at him through his window. So you mean Mr. Pretenci is... I wouldn't come out and say it in public, but you can finish that sentence with a grubby little gas thief. You have noticed the public gallery in here, have you? The eye of man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. I feel like you got that backwards. Faith, wouldst thou wound me with thy words, right o'er let them penetrate the skin. But seraphs hear not insults, only choirs of angels in song. We may not have evidence yet, but my workers won't stop buzzing around you until they find it. So I was right about him being a bumblebee. This is the queen bee. I see the pun. I see the joke. I getcha. This is the queen bee and he's the worker bee. Very cute. Very cute game. Very cute. And when they do, you'll find yourself blasted back to your angelic heights in an Altamont Gas explosion. Oh, well, let's not be saying stuff like that publicly. So Mr. Pretenci's been stealing gas. I wonder, juror number 4, if you wouldn't mind adding that information to your statement. My pleasure. Was it the bit about ripping the thief apart you enjoyed? A little before the part about abject violence, if it's not too much trouble. Yes, of course. This could be it. This could shift the balance. Yep, that'll be useful. The victim puts on a fine performance, but in reality, he's a common thief of my company's gas. Okay, let's scoot over here. No reason to lie. It shows he's a fraudster. It doesn't show he's a liar. I'm not sure if it's going to call me out on that. Let's go through the rest and see if we find something a little bit more obvious. Or we may just repress some of these and see if they change or give us any other insights. Oh, I don't really care, just need to end this trial quickly.
Hold it!
You keep talking about needing to take home some money. What's that all about, sir? Finish last, that's what it's all about. What's that? I'm talking about the Derby, Hyde Park, ain't I? It was like the Queen's Cup last week, wasn't it? Derby? It was a dead cert, that's the thing. I couldn't lose, so I took my wife's secret savings. Uh-oh. But then the hopeless old Mara went and did the unthinkable. Ah, that stupid finish last.
Oh dear. I think it's clear what happened, isn't it?
This is the day the missus uses her savings for a trip down the pub. So come on, let this business lie now. Just give it up.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay, you didn't change. You're not going to be worth anything. This, I feel like, is going to lead to something.
3 hours of missing time is nothing when you reach my age, you know? Nothing at all.
What do you really mean by that, sir?
Well, I'm not one to boast, but I get up at 5 every morning, I do.
At 5? You're a really early riser then, aren't you?
Huh? What's that now?
I said you're an early riser.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I like to while away the hours of the evening reading books as well. But by about 2 in the morning, I'm usually too tired to go on.
Damn. 3 hours sleep at night. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Huh? What's that, dear? Only 3 hours of sleep each night. That's right, you see. 3 hours of missing time, like I said. It's not much, is it? This really isn't helping.
The key to summation examinations is identifying contradictions between jurors' statements, Mr. Naruhodo. Right, once I've found 2 jurors whose statements can't coexist, I need to pit those jurors against each other. Then hopefully when they see that what they're saying doesn't make sense, they'll change their leaning. Yes, and if you're able to change the minds of a majority of the jurors, the trial will continue. But conversely, if you're unable to do that, the judge will declare the trial over and move to adjudication.
I can't let that happen. Somehow or another, I have to turn this trial around.
So Queen Bee is going to have to get pitted against either number 1 or number 2. You didn't change your phrasing, did I? No. See, it's saying he's a thief. It's not saying he's a liar, but these two are specifying liar. I don't have anything in the court record I can use for this, can I? Not really. If I pit... This guy's no good.
The victim puts on a fine performance, but in reality he's a common thief of my company's gas.
I'm going to press you again just to see what comes up.
That's a bold claim. How can you be so sure?
It's really very simple. Noble lady of gas, I pray thee, hold thy tongue.
Nope. Nope, not doing it.
I beg your pardon. I'm going to sting you. Hath thou rank odoured hair that doth our darkness illuminate any place in this assembly? Nay, 'tis of sole import here that someone wouldst extinguish the light of mine own life. Verily, I ne'er recall stealing thy gas, but pray let the matter rest till anon. Why, you little...
Begging your pardon, milady, but might I suggest you don't say any more at this stage?
What? What? Why? Why? What's coming up? What's this?
We need hard evidence first. If I keep secretly watching this bloke, I'll get him in the end. He'll slip up. Do you think maybe that secret's out of the bag?
I'll keep secretly watching him as I'm just peering in through the window non-stop.
Oh, this is so frustrating.
Okay, wait a second. Let's try. Well, he's not splendid. Like, I can't prove he's a liar, but we can prove he's not splendid. I'm either going to throw number 4 at number 1 or number 2, but I'm not sure which. Let's try this. Can I cross the streams? I can. All right. The victim puts on a fine performance, but in reality he's a common thief of my company's gas. So we're just trying to prove that he can't be trusted. Well, we got 5 health, so let's give her a bash.
Objection!
That's not going to do it. Because the music didn't stop.
My lord, as foreman of the jury, I must object. What? Being their leader, it's my duty to stand up for all jurors here present, and stand up for them I will.
Well, what happens if I target you then?
Oh, there's that word again, pettifoggery.
I actually had to look that word up. Apparently it's a word specifically about lawyering in a underhanded or bad or petty way. So pettifoggery, that's your word for the day, folks.
Until you listen up the facts straight, keep your pointy fingers to yourself. I thought it did.
We're trying to find inconsistencies in these jurors' statements, Mr. Naruhodo. The key to it is comparing the different things they say before attempting to pit them against one another.
All right, let's try 4 and 1, and if that doesn't work, then I'm going to do a little more pressing.
Pit time. Is this going to work?
Objection.
There we go. Ah, you picky bastards.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious, to whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 1. What are you yelling about now, lad? I presume you heard juror number 4's statement, made by the wife of the owner of Altamont Gas. Well, yes. The victim, who you claim to be a noble, straight-up man, in fact, turns out to be a common thief. So the good lady says. But there's no evidence, is there? You and I both heard them say as much.
It's true, we don't have evidence as such just yet. But the claims aren't baseless, you know.
What?
You heard me. Seeing as this operation has already been compromised, I would suggest that the court hears testimony from our East End branch office employee over there.
I'll do whatever you say, milady. Gasman's honor. Theatrics. Juror number 1, you said you're a man of your word. Oh, I did say that, didn't I? If I could show that Mr. Potenchi was a liar, you assured me that you would reconsider your decision about the defendant's guilt. Well, bollocks. I did say that. And as a man of honor, I'll hold to it, as I'm sure the other gentlemen of the jury will.
Me? Oh, well, yes. Now that we've found out that the man's a liar, perhaps we ought to reconsider the matter further. Completely lost my terrible Irish accent.
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, I haven't heard half of what y'all been saying. So if this means you'll recap a few points, that would suit me to the ground.
Oh, no, I'm not having any part of this. I was saying as the camera panned to this guy, I was like, wait a minute, this guy's not going to agree. Well, if you want the trial to be over, just find him innocent and we'll all be good and happy.
In that case, I shall change my leaning.
So, Mr. William Potenchi, if that is your real name, which it's not because the mod changed it, we of the jury demand to know exactly what kind of a man you really are. Isn't it amazing how we just do it in a perfect rhythm, in order, in sync, like the wave?
Well, that was an easy one. I got 4 jurors with just 1 pit.
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, victory! Almost.
Well, not defeat. We'll take it.
Well, this is quite extraordinary, I must say, even though it happens all the time. As a result of the defense Summation Examination, the jury's leaning has changed. Now only 2 jurors say guilty, while 4 say not guilty. I therefore declare this court to be in a state of disaccord, and order the trial to continue.
Oh, bloody hell. How have I not finished drinking this already? Never mind. You have spoiled the bouquet, Mr. Potenchi. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury now find they are unable to trust you, the victim. Hear no evil, see no evil. Is he going to cover his mouth next? Nope.
But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. So God mend me, I do swear. This gasman speaketh that which concerns him most, not but gas, not but thin air. Aye, it burneth bright a while, but it hath no substance, and it doth reek foul.
Yeah, that little bag there makes him look like a worker bee.
Boy, what did you say?
Well, I take it, Mr. Potenchi, that you deny the allegations of gas thievery.
Why are we talking about this now? I was assaulted, you know. Most heartily, my lord, hast thou forgot? I am a seraph, an angel, noble of mind, sweet of nature, and verily honest of heart.
Ah, you flowery-mouthed, pompous beanpole. Just 'cause I haven't got the evidence yet, I'm gonna choke myself. Mr. Pretenci, if in fact you are not noble of mind, sweet of nature, or honest of heart, if you are a liar, then your testimony should have no sway in this courtroom.
It is my considered opinion that at the present time no other possible culprit of this crime has been identified. All testimony heard by the court thus far heavily implicates the defendant. In short, it would not be unreasonable at this stage for me to rule on the case.
Uh-oh.
However, in light of the fact that the jury has expressed concerns about the fidelity of this witness, I believe it would be inappropriate for this court not to pursue the point further.
Objection!
Let this man get home to his wife, damn it. I assure you, my lord, that would be a waste of the court's time. The gas and this case are unrelated.
Juror number 4.
Yes?
Didn't you say before that although you had no hard evidence to prove this man had been stealing gas, you had strong grounds for suspecting him?
That's right, we do. Don't we? Worker B.
Absolutely, Lady Quimby. Gasman's honor.
Very well, then. We will hear your testimony now. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Pretenci, has been stealing gas.
Yes, my lord, it'll be my pleasure. On the Altman gas name, I swear.
If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, madam.
That was the wrong voice.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him, in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind.
What? Oh, these jurors, they're, So who's gonna sit in the seat? Hey, Susato, you want to go sit in number 4's seat?
Wahoo! Oh, yeah, sweet as honey. Yeah.
Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
You wait till the boss gives you an earful. Oh, it's gonna sting. You mark my words. I'm gonna keep making bee puns. Yeah.
So you will both testify before the court on the subject of the illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel.
Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont gas, milady. Which is the cleanest in the world. Theatrics. Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Miss Susato?
I think the man is just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruhodo. And not just a simping worker bee.
Boy, they just let any old person get up on this stand, don't they? Nice outfit, though. More style than Jez.
I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. God, this voice is going to kill my throat tonight. Altamont Gas Meters, a company threepence penny bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
And yet, the meter in Mr. Pretenci's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is?
Oh, is this going to affect... what Garadeb said? Because he watches the gas and notices when it flickers. But if Pretenci's figured out a way to just steal gas, then maybe he's just got it on all the time and the lights wouldn't be flickering, in which case, why did they? That seemed short. Oh, you're actually going to drink the alcohol this time instead of just toss it. Pray forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony causes me to turn to my hallowed chalice. The stupidity of these proceedings is making me just want to get really drunk. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks? Did the mustachioed Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance.
But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead.
Nope, I'm swearing off alcohol forever. Never touching this stuff again. Do what you will.
Lord Van Zieks appears to be in a violent mood.
At least he's not tossing it at me like other prosecutors probably would.
An attempted poisoning and an incident of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance, but I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places in these games. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is.
Is he actually still up on the stands? If he is, we're probably going to have to pursue him.
I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money.
Oh, there are 5 statements in this one. I thought it was shorter.
Meter money collection agent. Altamont gas meters accept thrupenny bits.
Thrupenny bits. Sure, thrupenny.
Each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
And yet the meter in Mr. Potenchi's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is?
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to discredit the flickering lights theory.
I certainly didn't expect to uncover another crime that looks like it's taken place in the same room. Man, this building is cursed.
According to the testimony, it's only the meter in Mr. Potenchi's room that's under suspicion. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with the incident involving Mr. Natsume.
I know, it does seem that way. The fact is, since I've been practicing law in England, I feel like I've encountered this at least once already. Cases that are interlinked. Oh, yeah, it's a common theme in these games. It might seem the two cases have nothing to do with one another at first, but in fact they're intimately connected.
Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Perhaps, but we can't be sure of that yet. If the Altamont Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Potenchi so earnestly, there must be something to it. But then how has he been managing to steal their gas?
I mean, if the gas was running when this guy was literally looking in and there's no coins in there, then I mean that does beg the question. All right, let's start pressing.
You're proud to be the blah blah blah. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters? That I do. Have to try to catch people when they're in. Then I ask permission to come inside, do my business.
Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before as well as that of Mr. Potenchi?
Well now, interesting you should bring that up, because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how the pair of them survived the winters beyond me, it really is.
Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books.
And then when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth.
You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Meterman.
Not much to say, really, but as you wish.
Oh, is he going to change his testimony already? Or are we just moving on to the next one? Oh, it's the next one.
Altamont gas meters accept threepenny bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas.
Hold it!
So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they?
They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. And anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes.
So if a 3-pence coin gives 2 hours of gas, oh, that's the proper name. I'm vaguely familiar with that word, not what the other guy said. Most people would use about 3 coins in a night. A bit more than that, usually, if they have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is.
Thinking about it, Soseki doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Ah yes, I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually.
And how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company? Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meters of coins.
I must say, the design and manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part.
Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean?
Yes, exactly right. And yet, the meter in Mr. Pretentious' room didn't have a single coin in it. Whoops, why are you skipping my text, you asshole?
Hold it!
Out of interest, how long has this been going on? Weeks and weeks. He's been pinching gas off us for ages.
And yet you've examined the meter in Mr. Pretentious' room, I take it.
Naturally, we took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-toothed comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume.
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock, the Pretentious Special.
Named after him.
That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3-pence pieces, or 3-penny pieces.
But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty.
I'll never forgive the humiliation. When I opened up the money box and found it bare, "You what?" I said. "You what?" And the look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of being jemmied up in anywhere. Not a single sign. Why am I doing this? That can't be healthy. And what happened to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that was. I got gumshoed. A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter? Nothing became of it. I still got it.
Oh, well, how is about we put that in the court record?
Right here. No wonder they call you Meter Man. Upcoming Android in Mega Man 14. I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing.
A meter that dispenses gas for a set time after a coin is inserted. It sports a very strong lock developed especially with Mr. Pretentious in mind.
Definitely. Though at first glance there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. I'll be the judge of that.
Alright. I flipped it around, didn't see anything. Well, I'm stumped. Alright, let's try to center this around a bit. Alright, what do we got to look at here? That doesn't matter. What's this? Nothing. How about you? How about you? There we go.
That's a very sturdy looking padlock, isn't it?
Oh, I was going to look at the coin slot, but alright.
And the money box is sealed with beeswax, too. My God, they're really taking this running gag a little bit far.
So if Mr. Holmes were to get up to any mischief, he'd be found out immediately.
Mr. Naruhodo, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Holmes would...
You know you didn't finish that sentence, don't you?
Stop fangirling.
Well, anyway, it's understandable that the gas company would want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs.
But it does feel a little over the top, doesn't it?
Is that everything? That's the whole... Yep, that's the whole thing. Badoop, badoop. Nothing over here. I see screws. What about these things? This is where the pipes connect, I guess. Whoa! Hey! What's... Hey, Chin Boy. You happen to turn this thing over.
Oh, what's... Have you spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo?
Just here, there's a little hole, do you see?
Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed.
It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say.
So you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Pretentious?
Possibly. Seems the people at Vault Gas must have missed it.
How the hell do you miss that?
You people are idiots.
Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through the inside.
Yeah, but there's no way a coin could fit through there.
That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious.
There it is.
Maybe he's like poking a stick up there to kind of push the mechanism that registers coins to make it think there are coins being put in. Alright, well, got that.
Although at first glance there doesn't appear to be anything usual about it, upon further inspection, there's something very unusual about it.
Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Got on board. Though I would say it has as much value as the contents of that meter.
Oh, That hurts. You gotta do me like that?
The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Do I just throw it at you right now? I'm just going to keep pressing, but I feel like it's like, oh, you just handed me the thing to just be like, here's the meter. It hasn't been tampered with. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with. Objection!
Hold it!
How stupid can you people be?
There's only one key for all of your meters? Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vaulted on main office. But even if someone had somehow managed to get hold of a key, we'd know if the coin box had been opened.
Oh, how?
I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens.
Is that the beeswax? Would you care to explain?
Would you care to explain publicly so we all know?
Well now, in order to remove an empty meter, you have to unlock the padlock and remove the cover. But when I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you see?
A seal? Like the sort of thing you'd put on an envelope, you mean? Oh! Hang on.
Something like that, yes.
I'm just curious. I can't imagine how this would have a whole lot to do with anything, but I just want to look at the angles. Does that match anything? This is all right angles, isn't it? I can't imagine why that would be a thing, but I'm just... You said letter, and now I'm wondering. Anyway.
Basically, you can't move the cover again without breaking the seal.
Now, in the case of Mr. Potenti's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said.
But the seal hadn't been broken either.
So that would mean Mr. Potenchi somehow managed to steal coins from inside the meter without opening it? I don't know. My theory is that he managed to just get the machine to register coins without putting any in the first place.
It would seem so, but that would be impossible.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is?
Hold it!
How do you know that he's been using gas, though?
Well now, since I started investigating this bloke, I've been to his room more than a few times, and on every single occasion his lamps have been blazing and his stove pounding.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
It's the middle of winter, and he still turns to me, sweat dripping down his cheeks, and says,
Get thee to a nunnery.
Hamlet indeed. I could wring the bloke's neck. I get all hot under the collar, but still, every time I open up that flaming meter, it's empty. He's robbing me of my salary, too. Boing. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice?
But how can Mr. Potenchi possibly be stealing the money? I don't understand. The simple explanation is right before your eyes.
What?
A toast to you eventually realizing that the gas man could be an accomplice.
What? Good Lord. Eminently plausible indeed.
Excuse me. Well, what... Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, please, Lady Quimby, I'm a faithful worker. And besides, if the money us gas men collect doesn't tally with how much gas has been used, you doc are paid by the same amount.
Fair enough. So you'd be stealing money to only have that same amount taken from your wages. Clearly that makes no sense.
Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war.
No. I'm not going to stir up that hornet's nest. If I were stealing from the company, I'd be finished.
It would seem there is no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim. I feel like there's a fair amount of evidence, just as much as yours is that the dude is an accomplice. I mean, come on. Clearly gas is getting stolen in some way because he's using it and there's no money. Because Mr. William Potenchi is innocent.
Well, I'm going to turn that around and say he must be guilty because he's stealing. So there, suck it.
Pray, forgive me if that shatters some illusion my learned Nipponese friend was clearly under. This is the same text we saw before. I feel like throwing that meter box, now that we've examined it. That's statement 4, was it? Ba-ba-da. Yet there's some point in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with. Surely you noticed the hole. Like I'm guessing he's poking something up there to trigger the mechanism to think there's a coin in there. Just pushing a little thin bit of metal right up to the top or something, right up to where the coin slot is. But I can't think of anything else to press. We've only lost 1 health, so let's try this. Whoops. We've examined it. There's a tiny hole in the base.
Objection!
Yep. Okay, there we go. Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say that this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with.
What?
Get away! I've been over and over that thing. You clearly have not. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. Or maybe he noticed the hole and just was like, well, that doesn't affect anything. In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box? Please tell me you actually noticed that. Hole? What? Oh, so you actually are blind. All right.
You're right. You're quite right. There is a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do.
In other words, we can assume that Mr. Potenchi secretly opened up this hole himself.
Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised, but why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get a farthing through that. I like my theory. Let's see. If Lady Altamont is the one who helped design these things, she should know whether or not my theory is possible. Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. Ah, excellent. This is what we want.
What sort of details?
Well, what I'd specifically like to know is, how it differentiates coins. Yeah. How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? Or maybe, wait a minute. I just had a thought. Oh, I think I know what's going on. I think I have a theory. Okay, so, I don't know how this is going to factor into the obvious. Obviously, the poisoning, there's a lot of things. I still think we're going to be able to prove that maybe something else happened because we can't rely on the gas going on and off flickering because it's just always on anyway. I have a feeling Mr. Potenchi has been using that soap to freeze medallions, quote unquote, but they're coin sized and he puts them in, but they're ice, and that registers them as coins, and he gets gas, and then when the thing invariably melts, especially considering how hot he keeps his place, it just drains out the bottom. New theory.
What do you mean?
Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it?
No, of course not.
So, well, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed is a 3-penny bit? Why didn't you say 3 pence?
Ah, I see where you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A 3-penny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit.
Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent. I'm just going to throw this out there before the defense even has a chance to ask for it.
As you wish, my lord. The meter is designed for coins the exact diameter and thickness of a 3-penny bit. Nothing else will fit.
So... the meter... oh, that's... yeah. But, this... this now lets me examine it again. I wonder if I'll get new text.
Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across.
Or 3/4 of an inch. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We did find this soap at the scene, didn't we?
Yes, there were 2 bars on that little ledge just outside the window. So we took this one. But I'm sure that when we first found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle there. I remember it clearly.
Yeah, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? Oh, it's going to change again. Damn. Maybe I would have gotten this text directly if I had waited until this long to examine it. Well then, how you feel about this?
Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter and thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating Mr. Potenchi's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly.
Something the same size as a threepenny bit. What was it?
The item in question is this.
Maybe he actually took an actual threepenny bit, pressed it into the soap to make a mold, and then filled it with whatever and put it on the windowsill where it's definitely going to freeze.
What? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap.
It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say.
It looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. Am I going to have to actually? Yep, I'm going to have to actually. What's so important about the soap is this part here. The part that looks like a threepenny bit. I'm just going to spit it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Do I have to point it out?
Got it!
That I do. You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean.
There's so many instances of us having to actually turn things over and then explain to the person in the stand that, hey, you know that thing? You can turn it over. Especially paper. It's like a massive revelation to some witnesses that paper has two sides. I love it.
Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there?
That's right. A depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. Get away! Does anyone here present have in their possession a threepenny bit? Oh, we're just going to test it. Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it?
I want to get something from the vending machine. I need some cinnamon rolls. Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to see if it fits. My word, it couldn't be more snug. Yeah, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded.
Well, I don't believe it.
She is a queen bee. So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas?
Yes. That impression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit.
I must concur at least that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape.
And then you could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You could make fake coins in no time.
I mean, this is all straightforward, but I'm waiting for the part where it factors into the poisoning.
This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Potenchi's been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet except Psy'Min.
But this is all nonsense. If the man has been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that can make them disappear, or a hole, Van Zeeks might have figured it out.
I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes.
Exactly. And the meter here gives it away.
What on earth?
There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room.
If that is your assertion, counsel, the defense would identify those remnants for the court at once. Where on the meter can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins disappear be seen?
Really? I gotta point this out? It's literally the only thing of interest on here. I examined it again. I hate myself. There's a little hole, blah, blah, blah. It was made by somebody, blah, blah, blah. It didn't have the right tools, blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness, it goes where the money ends up. Sure you could. If it melted. Beep, bop, boop.
Wait, where's my... Oh.
Got it!
For some reason, I didn't register the word present down there.
We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime just outside the victim's window.
Outside?
Yeah, outside where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. And that's where we found this soap.
Ah, I get it.
That's right. The answer, of course, is ice.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Pretentie's been leaving soap like this outside his window every evening, filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water's completely frozen solid the next morning.
Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts,
turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas.
Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots?
Well, you didn't miss the hole.
He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water.
That's right, madam.
I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless.
I'm fairly sure I didn't design it.
Evidence.
Sorry?
I want evidence. If you're going to stand there and tell me all meters are rubbish, I want to see proof.
I have a quick question. I was curious about this. There it is. I was going to say, is there some evidence of the water leaking out, like a bucket or something? It's like, no, there's just a puddle. Dude can't even afford a bucket. Okay. I'm ahead of the game on this one.
I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she?
Susdo's just ready to cry.
Very well, Lady Altamont. If you'd like evidence, I'll provide it.
What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory?
I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time.
I wonder if we could have examined that at the time when we were actually in the apartment.
And I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. This piece of evidence that substantiates the theory about how Mr. Pretentie's been stealing gas, literally the thing we just looked at.
Take that!
I probably circled it with my mouse, but then I forgot my mouse cursor doesn't show up in the stream. This is a photograph of the scene at the point where the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson, and it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Pretentie.
What remnants? Point it out specifically. Never mind.
Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Pretentie's room. Now look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter.
What is that? Some kind of grubby stain?
Wow, you are stupid. Almost certainly it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter.
Huh.
If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage, and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins every day. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor.
This is awful.
And there's further evidence too. What? I don't know that. I gotta point out something else. Mr. Pretentie is slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. Yeah, what's that all about? I still don't know.
You're right.
It would appear to me then, counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he?
Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but certainly not.
He didn't beat around the bush there, did he?
In truth, Mr. Pretentie was found with a fork in his hand.
A meal of soap is sounding increasingly likely.
Do you mean to say he was using that fork to...
Yes. I'm not following this.
To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap.
Huh.
But we didn't see... Yeah, but the bar broke in half.
So perhaps it didn't go over very well.
We didn't see an indentation in that soap, though.
Good gracious.
I'm almost certain we didn't see an indentation in that bar of soap. That was unnecessary. I'm going to pretend that part didn't happen. Someone back there is just getting glassed over the head repeatedly. Lord Van Zeeks, like, this is my objection. I'm just quiet and brain someone. I was throwing my hands up in despair and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my... Oh, I was going to say forgive the discourtesy. Forgive my maladroit mistake. What is the meaning of this, counsel? Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. Who cares? What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination?
Well, that Mr. William Pretenci is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable. That's it, yeah, what she said.
Very well, let us assume the man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make?
Well,
we know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there was no visitors to the room except the accused. See, that's the point of contention that I feel like we can disprove now, or at least get rid of the evidence for. The young gas man's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, is confirmed that. Was he literally outside the window all night, though? Because if he was, he would have seen the guy slump over. He should have called the police.
I'm still on the stand.
Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Pretenci is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it.
I wonder if somehow, and again, this is going to be a roundabout way that maybe is going to warrant the further investigation, that somehow some sort of poison got into the medallion thing, and when he broke the bar of soap, that medallion broke too, and then he just used it in his tea. I don't know why he would use it in his tea, considering his tea was already ice cold. I'm still trying to connect the dots here. Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate adjudication.
No!
Order, order! Well, counsel, how does the defense respond?
Respond somehow quickly. The streams need to end soon.
What was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zeeks is saying? I feel like it did. I feel like it had interfered with the whole idea of the lights saying that no one else came. No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest.
What? But counsel, you've successfully explained everything. You'd have identified and substantiated the unscrupulous methods employed by Mr. Pretenci to consume gas. What more is there to discuss?
Lord Van Zeeks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. Aha, but one of them is wrong, like Psy'Min says. But contrary to what he would have had the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all.
What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend?
At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption made due to a lack of evidence. My JoJo pose has been activated, but the situation has changed now following the cross-examination of the latest witnesses to take the stand.
Don't be absurd. What is this nonsense?
Yeah, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider, namely, was there another visitor? This has to be it, because now we can't rely on the lights to tell us anything. Was the poison in... I don't actually remember the specific timeline about the lights, but yeah, hang on a second. I gotta take care of a thing real quick here. I'm actually starting to get a little bit worried about my voice, since I might have actually mentioned this. I've got a
stage show tomorrow, and I'd really like my voice to not be friggin' hammered to hell. I'm having something come up that I need to quickly check and take care of before I continue the stream. Pray, forgive the discourtesy. Yay, hooray. Benzolios. Okay, we can continue now. Was there another visitor? You bet your ass. What if the victim did in fact have another visitor besides Mr. Natsume? If that's your assertion, by all means, tell us who it was. Yeah, well, who was this mysterious third-party counsel? Well, I'd like to think it's a little too soon to be naming names. On the contrary, it's a little too late, much like your defense. Wait, what? Wait, what? Mr. Potentially was trying to make more ice coins than that in question. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything in itself. I thought that was just like a... Wait a minute. Am I wrong? Was the poison in the tea? Maybe this is the question? This is a little bit weird. I mean, maybe this kind of goes back to the other theory I had kind of sort of a little bit, but well, I would have thought the gas lamps had something to do with something. Is this correct? We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that had affected Mr. Potenshi was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume. But that's conjecture at best. The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of the poison. As I said, the situation has changed. Because in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the... Oh, did he use the tea to make the coin? He used the tea to make the coin. And then we're going to check the water stain. Is that it? Is that it? We're going to check the water stain for signs of poison? And a particular piece of evidence proves it. That's why the coin was red. I was wondering about that. A ludicrous claim. Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed? The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Ho ho ho. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? Do I go back to this? We're going to test the well... Is that going to be any easier to test than the cup? Because this is just a stain. It's not still wet. You don't get a drop from that. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? I can't imagine this is it yet. I don't have a logical reason for that. There's no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup. The medallion, quote-unquote, was red. That makes me think that that was tea, and if that was the case, like, I really feel like... I mean, it's up in the air as to whether we can test that water puddle. You know, I'm not up on the 1890s forensic technology here. We still got 3 health, so I'm going to roll with it.
Take that!
What exactly is this piece of evidence supposed to reveal about Mr. Natsume's tea, counsel? Uh-oh, did I pick wrong? Well, I suspect it may possibly be related to the tea in some small way, but nah. This is losing dialogue. Oh. Even at the bottom of the deepest chasm, you will find no sense in that absurd... Dang it. Don't get a game over. Don't get a game over. We haven't had a game over yet. Don't get a game over. Come on, game. You know what I'm talking about. I advise you to think more deeply before you answer again this time.
What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? Is it going to be this? Maybe he melted the coin for just that little... I mean, if you're desperate for water, there's tons of snow outside. You might as well just use that. I mean, if it's not that picture, tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea. Nothing on here that shows like a stain. No. I feel like I'm right, though. Wouldn't have just... What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? Maybe it is this. I'm not sure why, though. I don't understand why there's a ring on one and not a ring on the other. But that might be because... I don't know. This will be a reach, but I don't see anything else I can present.
Take that!
Unless I'm wrong about there being any evidence at all. What exactly... Oh, that's not the good thing. Yeah, I've only got so much left here. And it's not letting me back out. Alright, we're on our last health here. Let's try to be a little more... Let's be careful. Nothing. Evidence from the scene. So not the cups, not the picture. I mean, this is just a nothing right now. This tells us not a damn thing. What evidence can tell us about the nature of the tea? What about here? Ingestion of a small quantity of strychnine, toxic events present, blah blah blah. High likelihood of the substance having been mixed with the tea the victim was drinking, but no sample could be obtained. The poisoning occurred. No container for the poison was found at the scene. I mean, if the coin was what was poisoned, technically we do have a container, the soap. But I don't really know what I'm supposed to present to, mentions the poisoning. I mean, it's not letting me back out, so I feel like some sort of evidence is necessary here, but I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Have I not examined something thoroughly enough? What about that? I want to examine that. Nope. So I can't examine this at all. I'm just trying to think of the things that I can look at for new evidence to expand on, like I did with the cups and the meter. But it's not the cups. It's not going to be this. If it is this, I have no idea. I still have no idea what this connects to. I'm going to say this because I got nothing else. If it's not this, I'm headed for a game over, and I'm going to have to maybe take the other object, because I think it was like, don't raise an objection was maybe a possibility, and that might be the right answer. I should take that next time, and then if I'm wrong, then Suzuto can just correct me. All right. Is it game over? Is it game over?
Take that!
It is very game over. Damn it. Well, that's lame. Thank you, Counsel. That will do. You suck. I've seen enough. You are clearly just throwing things at me and hoping something sticks. I believe the court has been presented with more than enough evidence. As such, I find... Oh! We're all ready, my lord. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you may throw your fireballs.
Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Guilty.
I'm back up here now.
Guilty! Guilty!
Number 5 still sounds way too refined for a laborer, but whatever. Wait, my summation examination. I get a right to that, right? Nope, not this time. In accordance with the findings of this court, I pronounce you naughty. What about my right to... Nope, not doing it. I applaud the jurors for doing this, sir. It's weird that they would include the jury in that game over, because then Naruhodo really should be like, wait, summation examination, I get to do my bullshit. That is all. Court is adjourned. Sorry, Saseki, you suck. Hopefully that doesn't send me too far back. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't make me restart from a save. Bold claim. Uh-oh. Oh, damn. Okay, so we don't get to... Oh. I can't imagine it would lock me into a game over. It's my armband. Okay. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? I mean, I'm looking at everything here. It's like nothing in here is related to tea. You did not get books related to tea. There's no store related to tea. That didn't do anything. This is a very long shot. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea? I mean, I might as well just throw stuff at the judge until he's happy. I don't like doing that because it's the cliched thing to do in Ace Attorney games, but I got no idea. I mean, I really feel like something I threw at him should have already done it. The nature of the defendant's tea is that it melted through the hole.
Take that!
Just take it. Nope. This is like that Ace Attorney song by Brentalfloss. I need to find the right evidence. Objection. Nope. Objection. Nope. Objection. Nope. Objection. Nope. Objection. Oh, that's it. I mean, what evidence can tell? Like, maybe? No. Maybe it's this. Maybe we're saying it was made into coins. Whoops. Please? Please, I beg you. Oh my god. Really? So I was right, but the other 15 things I presented that detailed it. The soap again? The same bar the victim used to fashion his coins of ice? Alright, I'm just ahead of the game, it seems. That's annoying. That game over doesn't count. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. It's more bars of soap. Soap? What are bars of soap doing up on a ledge outside the window? I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled across the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice. There was something strange about them, you mean? Yeah, they were red. Exactly, something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red. No, you mean... That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. Bubblehead. I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. That evening, yes, I did take some freshly brewed tea with me when I visited Mr. Pretentious' room as a gift. The public water pump outside always freezes at night, so I bought bottled water especially to make it. And this is the result. Never will I touch tea again, never! Ah, yes, I believe there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing. So on the night in question, Mr. Pretentious, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins. My word. There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak... Oh, that's how we're going to test. Very well, very well. I actually didn't think there were 2. I thought there was only 1. Some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime. I'm curious. Is that detailed on the soap? No, it just says it's the one. Frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Pretentious' window. Extraordinary. Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even one drop of the tea remains, Scotland Yard will be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has until now been mere conjecture, by finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contains strychnine at all. Ah, you smug Nipponese prick! That prick remark was unnecessary. That wasn't in the dialogue, Psy'Min. My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once, and the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it to determine whether or not it contains any poison. Dun dun dun.
I did that with the gavel. Lol.
Bailiff, instruct the police to attend the scene at once.
Is this when the trial is going to get suspended? Because now we got to test. Maybe investigate some other stuffs. It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. Ah, here we go. We get to wrap up the stream. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks. I have many objections. None, my lord. None I can voice. None I can say in polite company. Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. The prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord.
Nothing's changed. I hate this. You suck. Well,
We managed to scrape through there somehow.
thank you, counselors. Court is adjourned until tomorrow. I still like my theory about the flickering not being reliable. Because how can you depend on any flickering that's being instantiated from Pretentie's apartment when the fire's just on all the friggin' time?
Save that progress. Excellent. Save complete. Stream complete.
All right. That is the fun times. And we are going to wrap up. I need to check my schedule about what's going to be going on. Like I said, I'm busy tomorrow, so otherwise I might do a little more Melty Blood, see if the online is working again. Terraria will happen on Sunday again. I know I missed last Sunday, so I don't want to miss this Sunday. Anybody who's catching this, either off the back of the Corpse Party stream I did on Twitch, or just seeing this now or after the fact, make sure you stop by for that. If you want to chat, if you want to ask any questions, if you want to just hang out. We usually get a little bit of chat from there, usually from the same one or two people, but, you know, the more the merrier. That's kind of what that stream is for. Monday, I had a change in plans, so I might actually be able to do Corpse Party and Great Ace Attorney again. Great Ace Attorney will happen regardless, but if I have time, I'll fit Corpse Party in there. If not, Corpse Party will be on Friday, and I might stream another horror thing on Wednesday. It depends on client appointments and when I'm free. Tuesday is booked right up. Thursday is mostly booked up. I did also put up another hypnosis recording over the last 24 hours. This one's a nice longer one, so there's a treat for you there. That's kind of nice. Let's see. Wednesday in the evening I'll be doing something. We're finished with Stick It to the Man, so I'm going to stick something else in that slot. It might be mildly horror related. It might be something else. I've got a few options. Keep an eye out on Twitter. Keep an eye out on this space. As I always say, make sure you are subscribed, you are following, so that you know what's going on, so that you catch the upcoming streams. I do really appreciate my regular viewers. We had a few people I know drop by the Corpse Party stream, even though it was the first one on Twitch, just because they knew I was doing it. And even for as small a channel as this is, and this is one hell of a tiny channel, it's always nice to have the regulars. So, you know what? Speak up, hang out, chat, watch for upcoming streams, see if you can make them. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. If you feel so inclined, even just share the link and the channel and let people know that stuff is going on here. I think I've established by my history on the channel that I have no intention of doing anything but streaming on at least a reasonably regular basis. I mean, how many videos have I made in the last couple of months? So, anyway, we will go ahead and wrap up. I need to grab a bite to eat and get ready for my show tomorrow. Take care. I wish you guys all the best. I will see you later.